Welcome there, students. My name is Dean Tuck, and I'm your English 111 instructor for this 8-week course. If you haven't already, please, in logging on to Moodle, watch the welcome video that talks about the general gist of this particular class and what I hope you get out of it. Also, make sure you read the syllabus so that you understand things like, what you're in for with this class. You can see here I've got a little syllabus and course walkthrough. I need to double check to make sure that's updated. But anyway, this week you're going to click on this document here. And to me, this is like my version of the English 111 Bible, in which I talk to you about here's what you need to know, some basic things you need to understand about the generic academic paper form. In other words, intro, body, conclusion, topic sentences, tie-ins, MLA documentation in yellow here, all those things. But also important are these little interstitial lessons I want you to read, and of course listen to my videos where I talk about these things and why they exist, or why they are the way they are, why I think I'm right about these kinds of things, and if there's room for other ideas. But anyway, well, this week we're going to be focusing on just the first few pages of this document, the overview, thesis, and introduction, I believe. And then next week we're going to be looking at body paragraph structure and conclusion. But there are a couple of resources that you also need to read along the way, but I don't really assign it necessarily. Probably I should. But here's a page on general notes on academic style at the sentence level. So where you learn valuable pieces of information, smaller things like don't use second and third person pronouns in your writing. Don't use first and second person pronouns in your writing. Keep it all in third person. So no yous in yours, okay? That's a battle I fight all semester with my English 111 students. But and there are a lot of other little things like that. So read this at some point in these first 2 weeks. And the same thing is true of this page. I don't assign it, but I really would like for you to read it at some point in these first 2 weeks. But for now, we're going to focus on these first 3 pages, the overview, the thesis, and the introduction. Something I stress a lot in English 111 is body paragraph structure, and knowing that you have a well-structured body paragraph, because hey, body paragraphs make up the bulk of every single paper you'll ever write. So you want to make sure your body paragraphs read properly and are structured in such a way so that they clarify your supporting ideas. But anyway, now, something you ought to know about me and my online courses is that I've tried to make my online course as analogous as possible to my face-to-face experience. And oftentimes, what we would do in my face-to-face class is I would present them a handout like the one we were just looking at, and we would read them all together, and I would talk about each of the points, point by point. So the way I've tried to give that to my online students is simply to make videos like these. So here, you'll find me talking about the generic academic paper form and that overview, page 1. And similarly, here's a video of me talking about thesis and a video of me talking about introductions. There are a lot of videos in this class. And you might say to yourself, man, that's going to be tedious. I don't want to watch a lot of videos, Mr. Tuck. But I just want you to know from the beginning here that I don't do my online class. Sorry, quick interruption there. Look, I don't do my online class like you could imagine. Let's just say a music appreciation or art appreciation or maybe even a psychology survey class, in which you would read a chapter, maybe have a discussion board, definitely take a bunch of quizzes, okay, that the textbook wrote for the instructor. I don't really do all that. I don't like discussion boards. I do have quizzes that take you back through the skills we're learning, but it's not from the textbook. It's from me. It's from my notes. It's from my experience of having written papers and taught a lot of students how to write papers themselves. So instead of your having to spend a lot of time reading that textbook, your time will be looking at the resources that I post up here and watching these videos. And and frankly, listening to me blab about them, and hopefully I can clarify some things for you or questions that you may have about the parts of the paper or how to improve your processes and whatever it is you're doing. Hey, you know what? Let's just look at another one or two of these together. Refining your processes. I don't even remember this one. Oh, yeah, that's part of your homework, I suppose. You want to write a paper about building new relationships, making friends at Wayne Community College. The writing prompt. Okay, let's scroll on down. This is just walking you through what a writing task might read like, okay? And what I'm suggesting, you'll just need to read this one start to finish. But what I'm suggesting is, if you're ever given a writing prompt, is that if it's loose enough, if it's flexible enough, you cast a really wide net. And here's what a former class of mine did. They gave me this super long list. If the topic, for example, was making friends at Wayne Community College, you want to give incoming students some advice about making friends or acquaintances in this new environment. Well, I asked my students that, and they came up with all of this stuff. Big old long list, okay? Well, step 2 is, amongst all of this raw material, is there a focused discussion that you could carve out of it? And this method, or this approach to finding a good paper topic, is going to work for you in different writing circumstances in college. So what I suggested, and you'll see in the handout here, is you classifying those bits of information. And so you can see some things overlap, but I found these to be a couple of the more interesting focuses within the larger discussion. So you could say people can make friends at Wayne Community by looking at their extracurricular opportunities. Or we could talk about what are the in-class opportunities for meeting your peers and classmates. So you could carve out a nice focused paper just by casting a wide net first, classifying and looking for trends in conversations, looking for more narrowed topics, and building a paper from there. And this isn't really an assignment, but it's just walking you through the process of what it would be like to find a paper topic if you're given a very flexible prompt like that one. Here is the actual homework. I want you to write 2 introductory paragraphs for me. Let's look at this one together real quick. In that previous document, I had you working with this writing prompt, making friends at Wayne Community College. And here I've given you an outline where the thesis is going to be something about making use of in-class opportunities to make friends at Wayne Community College. And so you can imagine writing a paper where each paragraph offers a different supporting idea. So A, B, C, D, E, those are 5 body paragraphs. I want you to write a full paragraph about talking to someone outside of the classroom, talking to someone sitting next to you, speaking up in class, participating, group projects as a possibility, or perhaps even starting a study group. And here, because your homework is to write some introductions, I've got some model introductions for you that I wrote. And these will make more sense, of course, after you do all the things in order, because the introduction advice and the thesis advice kind of dictate to you what your style should be in writing introductions. I'll say this, students at Wayne Community College, I don't want to speak too broadly here, but I got a certain sect of students who, when they write introductions, they think that knowing the stuff you're going to say in the body means you can go ahead and say that stuff in the introduction, and that's kind of, well, there's a way to do it and there's a way not to do it. Honestly, what I'm getting a lot from students lately is they take all this raw material, stuff they're going to say in the body, and they start previewing it right here, which is a terrible idea. It's going to be super redundant because you're just going to say that stuff later. Now, there is a version of that sometimes occurs. Oftentimes, we will list as a way of foreshadowing how the content of the body will be organized. And that's okay, but I'm not a big fan of listing thesis statements, especially once you grow to have more than 3 things. All of a sudden that list becomes cumbersome and not all that helpful. So use a list thesis, I say, with discretion, but definitely don't pre-blab everything you're going to say in the introduction, in the middle of the introduction. In the middle is where you're supposed to be creating a space to open a dialogue. How can you open this discussion, somewhat creatively, but not crazy creatively? But the main thing is, can you impress upon the reader that there is a need for this information? Can you describe a situation where this information would be needed? Can you describe the type of reader or person who would benefit from having this? What you do in any of those 3 things, you're helping to create a space for the discussion to occur. You establish the need for it, the situation for it, the person who would need it, and then it gives you a ground to stand on. And now let's talk about ways to make friends at Wayne Community College. So I've got some model introductions that try to demonstrate those moves. And here is the actual directions for the assignment. And you'll get accustomed to seeing my handouts look like this. It'll say assignment, and there the directions will be. So that's basically it. Let's flip back to the thing just now. And so when you submit it, I'd like to see this as a student, but it probably won't let me because of some restrictions here. But I would like for you, it says please copy paste I'll have to fix that, writing into the text box provided. So you don't have to upload a file. I just want you to copy paste your writing into the text box that you'll see. Okay, so a lot of people have trouble submitting this first thing because maybe they're unfamiliar with that, but just know you're not supposed to upload a file. Just copy paste is fine. And in truth, while I did say at the end of that document that I wanted you to format your writing in this way, I don't care about that anymore. I just want you to use Times New Roman 12, copy paste text. That's fine. I'll figure it out. But when it comes time for you to submit a paper, of course, this is the MLA style for page 1. That's about all I got for you. And thank you for your time. And I'll be reading you soon.